Henshaw.
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 Thank you so much, first of all, for doing this with
Welcome.
us. So maybe let's just start with who you are and what you do here.
Well, my name is Henry Perez. I came here 9 years ago. I didn't have a restaurant in that moment. I'm 33 years old. I have a daughter. This restaurant, the name is El Local. It's all our concept of the food, the idea, and then what we do is local. So that's why the name El Local. And of course, I am part of the community, so I am local. So with a Spanish accent, is El Local.
Of course,
So-
yeah. So you're originally from Nosara?
I'm Costa Rican, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not from Nosara. I'm from the central west of Costa Rica,
Okay.
from San Carlos,
Mhm.
where the Arenal volcano is.
Oh, beautiful area.
Yeah, so I grew up in a tourist place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when did you decide cooking was something that you loved?
Well, this is a funny story. My mom, she used to be a cooking person. She works in a company who help old people who needs to be fed. So she cooks for them in a company. So she let me, I learned how to cook when I was 9 years old because I have to take care of my sisters.
Yeah.
I am the oldest of 3 sisters. So since I was 9 years old, I cook. And then I start baking. So I see the necessity of people to eat and make money.
Very, very. What was your favorite dish that your mom taught you how to make?
Well, there's a lot of food.
Yeah.
Like the regular cake, like dry cake,
Yeah.
the vanilla cake.
Yeah.
It's the only thing I really appreciate with a cup of coffee.
Yeah. So like a pound cake, something
Uh-huh.
really hearty. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. That's always
Exactly.
nice at the end after a meal, after a big meal. Yeah.
Exacto.
Yeah, I totally understand. So, from baking and cooking, this is obviously not a bakery over here.
Uh-huh.
What made you decide to go into the restaurant business instead of baking?
Well, there is a lot of influence on me.
Yeah.
One day when I was in school, I always take cooking classes for guys, especially in Latin America.
Yeah.
There is a lot of Japanese machismo. Like men can't cook. So it was super weird. And my teacher, she told me I was really good on that. I didn't take all the course for cooking. I take the chemistry course. So I just see how chemistry works in food and how literally in some way we are what we eat. So what I started doing was experiments with food, flavors, dry age, that kind of stuff when I was super young. So I get passionate. And also you get all the attention when you cook.
Yeah. Well,
People
that's
is
true.
expecting what you're
That's
doing.
true.
Like, it's ready? It's not ready?
Yeah.
What time? It's taking
Yeah.
too long.
Yeah.
So
So it must have been exciting for you over the last, 10, 15 years when that whole gastronomy, when that came about, with people using dry ice in their food and
Mhm.
making all these concoctions. Like, was that something that excited you? Have you tried those kinds of things? And
I know the techniques. I like them a lot.
yeah,
Sometimes some of the products can't work in this area,
yeah,
or I need really professional equipment, like laboratory to make that, or all the temperature should be more cool.
yeah, and drier probably.
Exacto.
Yeah,
Pero at the end, what's the work of the chef? Is create good food and also taking care of my guests. So I should learn how the environment where I live, where I cook, what I get, make it work, and then offer this option for you to enjoy. So that's part of the chemistry, experience, know the local products, and know the season. Like summer we have this, and winter we have this. So basically, it's that the main work as a chef is know your products and what we can do with this, and how you're gonna be benefited with this. One of the politics in this restaurant is we do not frozen any meat, any fish, so we try to keep it fresh. So that's why we have our own meat provider, is international certificated by grass-fed. Then the fisherman is a local guy, so he brings the fish every 2 days. He we don't have tuna, we don't offer tuna. If we don't have shrimps, we don't offer shrimps. Sometimes you bring clams or another kind of seafood. So that way we improve ourselves, we create new things, and people don't get bored.
That's exciting too because we've come here a few times now in 1 week and we've seen that there are different things on the menu, and that is exciting for a patron to come and see something that's new and it's pure local food. So do you walk me through your day? Would you go to the market every morning, or which market? Do you go to, I know Tuesday mornings we have the Nosara market over here. How does your day go?
Bueno, I have a really trustful team,
Excellent.
so they know how the providers or the vendor work. The menu that we have now is shorter than it used to be. With the pandemic, make us reduce the menu and recycle the products. Like the tuna burger didn't exist. It became with the pandemic because we only had the tuna poke. So I was thinking like, how can I use the tuna belly for something else? Because it was in the trash, totally in the trash. It was like maybe 2 pounds, daily pounds. So I started studying Japanese food. So they use the belly fat for the most fatty dishes.
So it's sustainable.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So I used the tuna belly, and it didn't need any additive or anything to create the patty. So we just chop it, make the patty, put it in the pan. Let's go.
Yeah.
So in that way, we recycle the products.
So in some ways, the pandemic helped you become, just be a bit more creative with what you were going to do. How else did the pandemic impact you? Did the restaurant have to close?
No, this restaurant didn't close.
No?
Didn't close. We just accepted all the regulations that the government told us, like delivery, pick up, and then open 25. At the beginning, it was super hard, really hard. Sometimes we sell 2 dishes, 1 dish. And what I did is I tried to offer all the options that people come to the restaurant or take the food, or also offer discounts, but never close. So I am really grateful with locals, residents, and also Costa Rican people who came to Nosara during the pandemic. It was the most strongest year I had because this restaurant became stronger than ever.
Wow.
During that year, yeah.
So the restaurant opened up, you had mentioned, in 2017.
December.
Yeah. And so what have you seen change over the last X amount of years?
Well, we have a lot of repetitive guests who refer us in Canada, US, or other parts. El local, for sure, becoming more local.
Yeah.
At the beginning was more like international dishes, cuisine techniques like we are not using now. We know how to do it. But the idea is like you come to Costa Rica and try our food. And so we get influence, but we don't follow any rule.
So are you finding that even tourists now are wanting that authentic Costa Rican experience? Like they want the food from here, they don't want the typical...
I cannot say we have a cuisine culture. Costa Rica do not have cuisine culture. There is something missing between colonization. Something is missing between that. But we get a lot of influence from immigrants who came to Costa Rica 100 years ago. Chinese people, Indian people, Afro-descendants people, Italians, Spanish people. So all that influence is what Costa Rican food is now. So I can say like, oh, this is like authentic Costa Rican. Something like maybe I can say indigenous, like who cook cacao, corn, potatoes, yuca, something like that is Costa Rican, but we don't have any identity. So my idea as a local restaurant is get all this influence and make it as an authentic dish, and you get an experience. Like the Costa Rican Caribbean casado is basically rice and beans with the coconut oil and coconut milk that we get from Afro-descendant people, and then we get the jerk chicken that came from Jamaica. So the risotto in Costa Rica we call it arroz guacho, like it's a rice and water, but it's Italian influence. I really like Japanese. I think Japan, Thailand, Peru, like one part of Mexico, we can share like one kind of cooking. Like we get the plantains, we got the tuna, we got the seafood. So we can make the same things in a different region and probably tastes similar. So it's what I do.
Where do you see the restaurant, the food? What do you see? What's your vision for the next, few years for your restaurant?
Ooh, that's a nice question. As a chef, as a dreamer, I would like every person who worked with me became like a samurai. They know everything. Sometimes it's not like that. So in the gastronomy industry, everything changes. Every day, you never know what's gonna happen. If you ask me, I would like to open a bunch, maybe two more restaurants with a local concept. Could change if it goes through any other part of Costa Rica. If we go to the north, there is more like meats and barbecue and that kind of stuff, but the same concept. And then if we go to the Caribbean, probably we get more influence with the Caribbean food. So something like that. A local at the same time is like a school for people. We hire people who do not have any experience, zero experience at the beginning of the season. So we teach them, and in this way we keep people knowing and learning, and they teach right technique, the right way to cook, or also get more creative and they can innovate more dishes.
And it builds their passion for it because they're part of it.
Sí.
They're part of building it. That's really good. So do you find, because your restaurant has been in Nosara for quite a while now, you're one of the ones that hasn't gone away over time and has changed, and yes, you've changed your menu a little bit, but do you feel that sense of responsibility that, I don't want to say older generation, but you're one of the chefs that's going to keep maintaining that authentic food. Do you feel that responsibility?
Yeah, it's a huge responsibility, and then it's a huge pressure. Sometimes creative mind. So sometimes I am more time like quiet, but I'm creative. So I'm thinking like every day what I can do, what I can innovate, what I can put in the menu, what I can teach, what I can read, where I can find this without going out of Costa Rica, what I can read, look in the web, look on YouTube. So we have a lot of tools like we can learn. Pero sí, like now a local is a target in this small area. It's a reference, like, hey, where I can eat a really good burger, a local. Why I have to go to a local? You can try the Thai rice, the fried Thai rice. Or do you try the fried chicken sandwich they're making? Well, it's organic chicken, they make their own buns, they're frozen the fish, that kind of things. Like, it's a huge pressure because people come here and expect like they are going to try that.
Our friends are so curious about Costa Rica. All our friends ask us, like, what do you love so much about it? I mean, we bought our home 4 years ago, and I can't explain it to them. I said, you just have to come here. Like, Nosara is so different. Like, I don't know how to explain it to them. You just have to come here. I said, I love the food. I love everything. I love everything. I love the jungle. I love the people are so nice. Everything. So what personally inspires you about your menu, about the food? What do you like?
Well, personal inspiration, my wife. My wife, definitely. She's the one who pushed me hard to get it like that. And also, she's the filter number one. So I'm telling like, I'm cooking this, try. And she's like, no, take it out. So she's my muse. And then I have a lot of chefs and I have a lot of friends. One to mention is Luis Brotti. He's my best friend, and now he lives in San Jose. He used to have a restaurant here, but this guy have total work in his mind. So I learned a lot from him. Then I have a lot of chefs. Just to mention this Mexican guy, there is a Brazilian guy. His name is Ajala Grand Nakats from US. There is another guy from Canada. His name is Timothy. Well, I have a lot of books.
So it's like a big, I don't want to say brotherhood because I'm sure there's female chefs here that are equally as good, but
let's call it a gang.
A gang, there you go. That's a good word for it. Yeah. And do you share ideas with each other? Is there competition?
I would like to have more people in that small group.
Yeah.
We are so busy.
Yeah.
Pero I would like to create a commission of chefs. Like we share all our opinions, or we can go all together and buy a boat and go and fish, and then get our own fish all together like a family. But sometimes they are rough or not, so they don't like it at all. Pero sí, there is a small gang. We enjoy time together. We drink some things. There must be a food insider of chefs in Nosara. That would be nice.
That would be a lot of fun. So we got to meet your daughter the other night. How old is she?
3.
3. So do you think she's going to take over the business one day?
I hope not.
No.
Oh, it's too much demand.
Yeah.
Working in a restaurant is too much time.
Do you see her interest in food? Because I noticed she was in the restaurant with you. Yeah.
She likes food
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
She has a nice palate. Yeah, she eats whatever you give her, she eats it. Even spicy food.
Oh, that's excellent.
Uh-huh.
Excellent. Well, this is really great. I feel like I already know you now a little bit. So I think the next thing we get to do is go to your kitchen.
Sure.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And take a look at some of the food being made, and then we get to try it.
Sure. Good. Yeah,
Great.
definitely.
Okay, thank you.
Con gusto.
Thank you so much.
You want to introduce us to your chef and your cook too?
Basically, they are the guys who work inside. Eduardo is first season in the kitchen. As I told you, sometimes we hire people who have experience. And actually, Eduardo became one of the fastest guys who learned how the whole table works. Salads, fried things. And then the wallet is the most newest incorporation in the kitchen. A bakery man, so he got experience working in bakery places. He's the one who makes the bread, makes the pizza.
Oh,
Yeah, that's a
so wood-fired oven.
Yeah.
So you spend all your time here working in front of the oven. Look at that. Oh, it smells so good. So it's very local. Is that pressure cooker?
Yeah, I was cooking osobuco. You remember what's osobuco?
It's veal.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, veal shank, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
The company who provide us the meat, the chicken, is an international certificated meat. So this is a grass-fed sirloin. We cook it in an open fire because the fat of the meat.
Oh, it's charcoal. Yeah. What's in the mashed potatoes?
Heavy cream, tons of butter, salt and pepper,
All the good things.
all the good things.
Butter makes everything better.
Oh yes, definitely. How do you pronounce the shaw?
Henshaw.
Henshaw. How is it being made?
By hand, I make the steel, and then I make it really thin. I have to harden it, and then I have to sharpen it. I have to grind it all as it's hard.
That's why it's flexible, right?
Yeah, it's a more skill for me. My skill level goes up, your skill level goes up. And I studied in Japan with a Japanese fellow. The Japanese do minimalism so well. It's like they take a more and more away till you're just left with the essence. And I love that.
We're going to use the Henshaw knife, so it's handmade
Yep.
from Canada to Costa Rica. We're going to cut sirloin meat.
Try it out.
Yeah, it is amazing. It's like I have a machine. Look how fast it goes, like super easy on the meat. Now it's because it's part of the grill part, so I just move on my left hand. It's like one move. And it must work like for sashimis, the tuna, the big, huge tuna piece of meat. So it goes super fast. Look, through the fat is better.
To me, a sharp knife is a joy.
Yeah.
It's an absolute joy.
Let's go plating.
Are the shrimps from Garza or from here?
Those are from the Central Pacific, not from Garza, but like north.
That's where shrimp live?
Yeah.
Like closer to Cocos?
See? See?
explain the sauce?
This is a shrimp biscuit. So it's all the shells from the shrimp, and we mix it with spices and wine. We cook it, and we make the reduction. So it's really tasty.
Wow. That is so good looking.
So good.
We add some green stuff.
What I've noticed about Costa Rican dishes is that they eat with their eyes.
Yes.
It's all pretty. Pretty.
We try to make like most honest food. Like basically the farm to table thing is our concept.